Welcome back to Carrick United Analysis. If you are new here, welcome to the channel. This is the place where Manchester United fans come to get honest, clear, and reliable breakdowns of everything happening at Old Trafford. No noise, no wild guessing, just real information explained simply so every single fan understands exactly what is going on. If that sounds like your kind of channel, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and let us get into today's story. Because our captain has been speaking about exactly what Marcus Rashford's return means for this squad. Manchester United fans, have you seen our captain speaking about his connection with Marcus Rashford? Because Bruno Fernandes has been opening up about exactly what having Rashford back in the building means for this squad. And it fits perfectly into a story that has been building steadily over these past few weeks. Today we are going to break down everything we actually know about this relationship, what Carrick himself has confirmed about Rashford's role in his plans, and why this partnership could matter so much heading into the new season. A quick word on accuracy before we start. Before we go any further, I want to be completely transparent with you, exactly as I always try to be on this channel. A very specific, detailed quote attributed to Bruno Fernandes about Rashford's return has been circulating recently. While I can confirm Bruno has genuinely been speaking publicly about his connection with Rashford, including in a notable recent sit-down interview, I was not able to verify that exact wording as something he said word for word. So rather than presenting an unverified quote as fact, we are going to focus today on everything that is properly confirmed, Bruno's genuine, on-record comments about this relationship, and the real update Carrick himself has given about Rashford's place in this squad. The real interview that sparked this conversation. Let us start with what actually happened, because there is a genuine, confirmed story here worth properly understanding. Bruno Fernandes sat down for an exclusive interview with Rio Ferdinand at Carrington, described by those involved as his most honest interview yet. As part of that wide-ranging conversation, Bruno spoke about the genuine connection he shares with Marcus Rashford, both on and off the pitch, describing their understanding and teamwork as something that has developed over their many years playing together at Manchester United. Think about the significance of that timing. This interview took place right around the period when Rashford's own reintegration into the first team squad was becoming a genuine, developing story, following his return to Carrington and his subsequent involvement with the squad in Dublin. Having our own captain speak openly and warmly about his relationship with Rashford during exactly this period adds real, meaningful context to how the current group appears to be welcoming him back into the fold. Doesn't it say something positive that our captain chose to speak about this relationship specifically at such an important moment in Rashford's own comeback story? Why the Bruno and Rashford partnership has always mattered. Let us think about the history behind this specific relationship, because Bruno and Rashford have actually shared the pitch together for a considerable number of years at Old Trafford, dating back to Bruno's arrival from Sporting CP in January 2020. Throughout that period, before Rashford's exile from the squad, the two players developed a genuine understanding in matches, with Bruno's creative passing range and vision often finding Rashford in dangerous positions, while Rashford's pace and directness gave Bruno a genuinely reliable outlet to pick out with a defense-splitting pass. That kind of partnership, built over years of playing alongside one another, cannot simply be recreated overnight with a different teammate, and it represents exactly the kind of chemistry that could prove genuinely valuable as Rashford works his way back into regular first-team action. Carrick's own genuine update on Rashford's role. Let us move on to something we can properly and fully confirm, because Michael Carrick himself has given real, direct updates about exactly where Rashford stands within his plans. Following United's 1-1 draw against Leeds United in Dublin, Carrick confirmed that Rashford has been told he is part of his plans moving forward. This represents genuine, significant confirmation directly from the manager himself, rather than simply media speculation about his prospects at the club. Carrick had earlier confirmed that Rashford would link up with the rest of the squad in Ireland, and previous reporting had also indicated the manager was not against the idea of properly reintegrating him into the group. Think about how significant this kind of direct managerial endorsement actually is. This is not simply Rashford training alongside his teammates and hoping for the best. This is the club's own head coach explicitly confirming that he sees a genuine role for him within his broader squad plans heading into the new season. Why Carrick sees genuine value in what Rashford offers. Let us think about the specific tactical reasoning behind Carrick's apparent willingness to include Rashford in his plans. Reports have suggested Rashford would add valuable depth on the left wing, while also potentially offering an option to deputize as a central striker, providing genuine backup and competition for Benjamin Sesko in that position. Given the demands of a long season that will include European football, Having genuine quality and squad depth across these forward positions represents exactly the kind of practical value a manager needs from his broader group of players, beyond simply his first-choice starting 11. This tactical flexibility, the ability to play across multiple attacking positions, adds real practical value to Rashford's potential role within this squad, regardless of exactly how much regular starting football he ultimately receives in the opening weeks of the season. The poetic timing of a potential Amorim reunion. Let us talk again about one of the most fascinating subplots still to come in this entire story, because the timing continues to build toward a genuinely poetic potential moment. United face AC Milan in their final preseason friendly, with Rashford potentially in line to finally make his first appearance for the club in over 18 months in that exact fixture. Milan, of course, are managed by Ruben Amorim, the very manager who froze Rashford out of the squad back in December 2024, claiming at the time that he was not giving his maximum effort to the club before sending him out on loan to Aston Villa. Think about the genuine emotional weight of that potential scenario. A player rebuilding his career and his reputation, potentially making his long-awaited comeback appearance in the very fixture that pits him against the manager whose decision originally triggered his exile from the club. Whether or not this specific match ends up being the moment his first appearance finally arrives, the poetic nature of this looming fixture adds genuine intrigue to how the remainder of this preseason story continues to unfold. Why this timing represents a form of quiet redemption. Let us think a little deeper about why this potential Milan reunion carries such genuine symbolic weight, beyond simply the surface-level storyline. Rashford's entire journey since his exile, the loan spells at Villa and Barcelona, the rebuilding of his form and reputation, and now his careful reintegration back into United's first-team plans under a completely different manager, represents a genuinely complete arc. Facing Amorim directly, potentially in his actual first appearance back in a United shirt, would represent a fitting, almost cinematic conclusion to that entire journey, regardless of the specific result of what remains, after all, still just a preseason friendly. Carrick's broader tactical experimentation this preseason. Let us think about how Rashford's situation fits into the wider tactical picture Carrick has been building throughout this entire preseason. Reports indicate Carrick has been using this preseason period to experiment with his side's attacking options, including moving Bryan Mbeumo into a more central striker role, a change that has reportedly impressed throughout these opening weeks of preparation. With Benjamin Sesko also still part of his attacking options, and Mason Mount working his way back from a preseason injury setback, Carrick appears to be building a genuinely deep and flexible pool of attacking talent, with Rashford representing one further piece of that evolving picture. This context matters, because it suggests Rashford is not simply being welcomed back into a squad with an obvious guaranteed starting role waiting for him. Instead, he returns into a genuinely competitive environment, with several other attacking options also pushing hard to establish themselves in Carrick's strongest available lineup heading into the new season. Why genuine competition for places benefits everyone. Let us think about why this kind of competitive environment actually represents a positive situation, both for Rashford personally and for the squad as a whole. A returning player walking into a squad with limited genuine competition for places can sometimes lead to complacency, whereas genuine competition from players like Mbeumo, Cunha, Ahmad, and others forces every single player to maintain the highest possible standards in training and in matches, simply to secure regular playing time. For a player like Rashford, specifically trying to prove his renewed commitment and consistency following such a difficult previous chapter at the club, this kind of genuinely competitive environment could actually serve his own long-term development extremely well. The financial and contractual backdrop to this story, let us also properly understand the financial context surrounding Rashford's situation, because it adds real depth to why this reintegration story carries such genuine significance for the club. Rashford currently has 2 years remaining on his contract, reportedly earning in the region of £17.5 million annually. That substantial salary has made finding a suitable permanent transfer destination genuinely complicated throughout this transfer window, particularly following Barcelona's decision not to trigger their reported £26 million option to sign him permanently, instead investing in Anthony Gordon from Newcastle. With no clear permanent exit route currently available, and with Carrick apparently genuinely open to including him in his plans, this represents a situation where footballing pragmatism and player welfare appear to be aligning naturally. Rather than the club being forced into an awkward standoff with a player they cannot easily move on, there appears to be genuine mutual willingness on both sides to make this reintegration work. Why this represents smart squad management from Carrick. Let us think about why properly welcoming Rashford back, rather than simply trying to move him on regardless of the circumstances, represents smart management from Carrick. If Carrick can genuinely help restore Rashford's confidence and motivation, building on the clearly positive foundation established during his loan spell at Barcelona, United could effectively gain one of their most valuable attacking additions of the entire summer without needing to spend a single additional penny in the transfer market. Given the significant investment already made elsewhere in the squad this summer, unlocking this kind of value from an existing contracted player represents exactly the sort of shrewd, practical decision-making that helps a club manage its overall resources effectively across a long, demanding season. The wider fan reaction to this developing story, let us think about how supporters themselves appear to be responding to this ongoing story, because the reaction has been genuinely varied and worth understanding properly. Some fans have expressed clear support for giving Rashford a proper opportunity to rebuild his career, pointing out that with 2 years remaining on his contract and no obvious alternative solution currently available, the most sensible path forward involves the fan base getting behind him and hoping he demonstrates the strength of character needed to succeed in this new chapter. Others have expressed more residual skepticism, remembering the difficulties of his previous exit from the squad and wanting to see genuine, sustained proof of his commitment before fully trusting in this reintegration story. This kind of healthy, honest debate among supporters reflects exactly the balanced scrutiny any returning player in Rashford's specific situation should reasonably expect to face, rather than either blind celebration or outright dismissal. What Bruno's continued captaincy tells us about squad culture. Let us think about the broader context of Bruno Fernandes's own role within this squad, because it helps explain why his backing of Rashford, in whatever specific words he actually used, carries genuine significance. Bruno has continued to develop as a genuinely influential figure both on and off the pitch throughout his time at Old Trafford, with reports suggesting the club's hierarchy view him as a long-term leader in the dressing room, someone whose creativity and leadership remain genuinely vital to the squad's overall culture. Carrick himself has reportedly made clear his own delight at continuing to work with Fernandes, expecting him to play a key role again this season as the club looks to build toward genuine success. Having a captain with this level of influence and respect within the dressing room speaking positively about a returning teammate's reintegration carries real weight, helping set a positive, welcoming tone for how the rest of the squad approaches working alongside Rashford as he continues rebuilding his place within the group. Why squad chemistry matters so much for a long season. Let us think about why these kinds of relationships and dressing room dynamics actually matter in a practical footballing sense, beyond simply the emotional storyline. Football remains a genuinely collaborative sport, and squads that function well together, with strong relationships and mutual trust between key players, often perform more consistently across a long, demanding season compared to talented squads lacking that same level of internal cohesion. Having established relationships, like the one between Bruno and Rashford built over several years of playing together, potentially rekindled and strengthened as this new chapter begins, could provide exactly the kind of foundation that helps translate individual quality into consistent collective team performance. Looking ahead to what comes next, let us think about what United fans should be watching for as this story continues to develop over these final days of pre-season. With the AC Milan fixture rapidly approaching, all eyes will be on whether Rashford finally makes his long-awaited first appearance in that specific match, potentially facing his former manager in what would represent a genuinely fitting moment in his ongoing comeback story. Beyond that specific fixture, supporters should also watch closely for how Carrick continues to utilize his various attacking options as the Premier League season approaches, and for any further public comments from senior figures within the squad about Rashford's ongoing reintegration. How should United fans feel about this developing story? So how should we as supporters feel about everything unfolding around this genuinely fascinating chapter of Rashford's career? I think there is real, genuine reason for cautious optimism here. Carrick's own direct confirmation that Rashford is part of his plans represents concrete, meaningful evidence of a genuine path back into this squad, while the confirmed existence of a warm, long-standing relationship between Bruno and Rashford adds real substance to the idea that his reintegration is being welcomed positively within the dressing room itself. At the same time, genuine competition for places, a still developing tactical picture under Carrick, and the reasonable skepticism still held by parts of the fan base all suggest this remains a story that will need to be proven through consistent performance, rather than simply assumed based on positive sentiment alone. Final thoughts before we wrap up. So there we have it, Manchester United family, a genuinely fascinating and still developing story around Marcus Rashford's reintegration into this squad. Our captain has spoken openly about his genuine connection with Rashford. Carrick himself has confirmed the forward is part of his plans moving forward, and all signs continue pointing toward a potentially poetic first appearance against Ruben Amorim's AC Milan in the final pre-season fixture of the summer. Whatever the exact words spoken by anyone connected to this story, the underlying picture remains clear. This represents a genuine opportunity for Rashford to rebuild his career at the club he has always called home. Let me leave you with one final question before we close out today's video. Do you believe the genuine relationship between Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford will help accelerate his reintegration into this squad? And how are you feeling about the possibility of his first appearance arriving against his former manager? Drop your honest thoughts down in the comments below. I read every single one, and I always love hearing the different perspectives from this passionate community. Thank you so much for watching today. If this breakdown helped you understand the full and honest picture behind this genuinely fascinating story, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and share this video with a fellow United fan who wants the real, accurate details rather than unreliable guesswork. This channel only continues to grow because of supporters exactly like you, and every single one of you watching is part of what makes Carrick United Analysis a trusted home for honest, reliable Manchester United coverage. Until the next video, stay hopeful, stay patient, and let us watch this remarkable story continue to unfold together. Come on, United.